The history of rigid airships is a story full of excitement and adventure. Man's struggle to conquer the air started with lighter-than aircraft. Back in 1897, the inventor Schwartz created what was technically the world's first rigid airship. It was all aluminum, way ahead of its time. The real father of the rigid was Count Ferdinand von Zeppelin, a retired German Army officer. Zeppelin served as an observer with the Federal Balloon Company in the American Civil War. Based on his experiences with balloons, he later conceived the idea of the rigid airship. Gradually, Count Zeppelin gathered around him a number of talented co-workers, notably Dr. Hugo Echner, who became not only a famous airship skipper, but also the leader of German airship development. Dr. Ludwig Durr, designer responsible for many important Zeppelin engineering features. Dr. Carl Arnstein, who became an American citizen and has continued his airship work in the United States. And Captain Ernest Lehmann, Zeppelin raider in World War I and the first skipper of the Hindenburg. In 1910, Zeppelin founded the world's first regularly organized air transport concern, the German Airship Navigation Company, known as DELAG. One notable Zeppelin flight was a voyage of over 4,000 miles non-stop from Bulgaria to German East Africa and back, most of the trip over unfriendly territory, adding to the hazard. In a few raids over England, the Germans tried out an ingenious cloud car, or spy basket. This was a very good idea and extremely effective under the right conditions. The Zeppelin, hidden in the clouds, was reasonably safe from attack and discovery. There was opportunity for accurate observation, the observer telephoning his findings to the ship. They used 116 rigid airships during the war. About a third of these were lost due to pioneering defects or inexperience in handling. Allied guns and planes brought down another third. The remaining third were decommissioned intact. When the war ended, the Allies distributed amongst themselves the remaining German airships, giving them further material for study. As a result, in 1919, the British completed the R-34, a Zeppelin copy. Pleased and proud, they immediately flew her westward over the Atlantic. Her landing at Mineola, Long Island, marked the world's first non-stop transatlantic air crossing between England and the United States. The first American-built rigid was the ZR-1, or Shenandoah. Structural parts were fabricated at the Naval Aircraft Factory in Philadelphia and assembled in the original large hangar at the Naval Air Station, Lakehurst, New Jersey. Completed in September 1923, the Shenandoah was a modified copy of the 1916 Zeppelin L-49, captured in France. The Shenandoah was a particularly important ship, not because she was up to date, but because she was the first native-built, homegrown American rigid. She made her first flight in September 1923 and flew at sea and over many parts of the country in the next 2 years through a wide variety of weather. In some respects, the Shenandoah was a rugged ship. In January 1924, because of a jam mooring spindle, a 74-mile gale tore her from the high mast at Lakehurst, leaving part of her bow structure dangling at the masthead. She was brought back safely, even though her 2 forward gas cells were deflated and much cover torn from her upper fin. Only 157 rigid airships were ever built, and Germany built 138 of them. England built 16, and the United States only 3. A group of America's most eminent scientists and engineers gave their considered endorsement to rigid airships. These distinguished authorities declared,
"It is the unanimous opinion of this committee that airships give promise of useful and effective service, both commercial and naval, and require a continuing program of construction and use."
Men seem destined to learn some things only through bitter experience. Airship development, too, has had its setbacks from human causes. In every major airship accident, some human mistakes and inadequacies have been apparent. Even with hydrogen, the safety record of commercial rigid airships surpasses that of any other form of transportation. Over 51,000 passengers carried more than 1.25 million miles with not a single casualty until the Hindenburg fire. The airship's place in commerce will fill the great gap between the slow surface vessel and the fast airplane. It provides the greatest comfort at costs lower than airplane travel. The records show that the airship is feasible, safe, and economical. Airships have been of definite military value and of commercial benefit.